Hi there, friends. Welcome to the Stampin' Piece Studio. I am Mary Nabe, for those of you who may be watching for the first time or rather new to this Facebook page, Stampin' Piece with Mary Nabe. I'm coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio on Monday, May 1st. I cannot believe it is May 1st already. It's a cold day here in Ohio. I walked for just less than a mile this morning and it was cold, it was windy, it was raining. Yes, but that's the way it is in Ohio. We're, 70 degrees one day and the next week we're way down. But anyways, I hope you had a great weekend. We're just going to wait a few minutes to get started. Today I'm going to be showing everybody how to make the Stampin' Up! Color Coach and how to use it. So I'll take you from this to something like this with all kinds of fun cards and a beautiful rainbow of cardstock. So let's give people just a couple of minutes to jump on and then we'll get to that project. I had a great weekend. Some of you may know that I had challenged myself to do a quarter marathon again. Never been athletic, never played a sport, but 4 years ago I had a goal to run a 5K. I mean, run a 5K, not walk it at all. And I was able to do that, but prior to that, my daughter put us in a quarter marathon, which was my first ever race, and I did pretty well. And then we did a 10K, which I had difficulty on, and then the next month I was able to run that 5K. So I had in my head, I wanted to do that again. Well, it's been 4 years. No, I'm not a runner. I don't like to run, but I do like that feeling when you cross the finish line and you've done something that is so difficult and maybe you thought you could never do on your own. So I did that Saturday. This is my medal from the Cap City. Columbus is the capital city of Ohio. So that's my medal for the Cap City quarter marathon. And I was supposed to do it with my son-in-law and his sister. His sister traveled into town with her 2 small children for Andrea's baby shower. And she just had a rough night with the kids. So she did not run. But then on top of that, Andrea texted me in the middle of the night that John was so sick, my son-in-law. And unfortunately, he had gotten food poisoning and he was up sick all night and most of Saturday. So I really had to, I was counting on them to coach me through, to push me through that race. I can't say I ever would have done it alone, but it ended up being a really great experience because I put myself in that mindset of, I can do this. I just have to show up and finish. And if I finish last, it's okay. And if I end up walking the majority of it, that's okay too. But either way, I'm going to show up, give my very best, and see what happens. And I have to say, I feel very accomplished and proud of myself for doing that because that is way outside my comfort zone. And I finished in 1 hour and 37 minutes, 6.55 miles for a quarter marathon, and I'm really proud of that. Yesterday, I thought, I'm never doing another one. Today, I thought, oh, maybe I will do another one. So who knows what will happen when the Cap City comes around next year. And then yesterday, Emily and I, along with some help from my sister, Joan, hosted a baby shower for Andrea and John. It was so much fun. We had 36 people at my house, including some children and a few babies. But so much fun, and just to see people come together to support your adult children, and just to think, gosh, one of my babies is having a baby. It was just a really really great, happy, joy-filled day. So my cup is definitely full. But today's back to work day. So, I'll just show you these. I'll post some photos to stampinpeace.com because people have been asking, show your favor, show the invites, etc. But I happen to have these real close. They weren't all finished for the shower yesterday because I wanted to give Andrea some thank you notes as a gift. And I didn't have them all quite finished, but I finished them up real quick this morning and went ahead and packaged. She'll be here tomorrow to work for me. But I used the Elephant Parade stamp set to do those. Elephant Parade is a retiring last chance product. That, along with any other last chance products that are still available and that you may still want, today, May 1st, is the last day to order those things, okay? Last day to order items on the last chance list. Because then tomorrow, so this is the out with the old part, right? And then we have in with the new. Tomorrow starts the first day of our new annual catalog. I will be doing a virtual catalog launch walkthrough on Tuesday, May 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And that will be right here on Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabe on Facebook. So I hope you'll all join me for that. I usually get tremendous response from doing those new catalog walkthroughs where I show my favorite products, maybe do a top 10 list or a favorite in each category. I will point out some things that perhaps you may have overlooked, and we'll go from there. So enough chit chat. Let's get started making our project for today, the Stampin' Up! Color Coach. I'm going to flip my camera to my workspace, and while I do that, please invite others to join us for today's project. Oh, you get another quick look at my metal. It is so cool. And I have to tell you, because doing something like this is so far out of my comfort zone, the medals I have from the races I did in 2019 and this one will hang or do hang in my bedroom. And they're on a wall that I see as soon as I get up in the morning. And that's just a visual reminder to me that I can do hard things, that I can challenge myself, do hard things, and wow, what a boost of confidence. And I have to say, even though I ran the race alone, my family, Andrea and Emily, my daughters, and their dad, Peter, all went out along the route to cheer me on, which was so cool. And that helped a great deal when they would shout out my name or yell, "Go Mom!" So lots of fun. So I have previously posted these PDFs from Stampin' Up. Well, it's one single PDF, but it's ends up being 10 pages. I've posted this to my Stampin' Peace VIP group and then shared it to this business page, Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabe. I will do that again as soon as this Facebook Live ends. And by tomorrow, I will also have this on my blog, stampinpeace.com. You know, that's sort of the hub of my business. So I will have that on my blog along with the replay of this Facebook Live and some photos to help you out. So don't feel like if you're not ready. You really just need to follow along today. And I'll give you some pointers of how I put my color coach together and how I use it in my crafting. So the first thing you would do is print out the color coach. And like I said, it's 10 pages. One thing I want to point out to you is that this is kind of set in what Stampin' Up! Has come up with as rainbow order. In the past, they've given it to us, say, like in color families, brights, neutrals, regals, and subtles, plus the in colors. This time they went different and did the rainbow order. So as you can see, starts with the reds and goes into the pinks and orange, etc. So if you like to arrange things in rainbow order, you just follow this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next one, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you go on through all 50 of the color coach cards. If you prefer to organize by the color families, the brights, neutrals, regals, subtles, and the 2 sets of in colors, each card is marked at the bottom, so you know how to put those together, okay? And you can also use your new catalog as a guide for doing that. You're going to take these sheets, and even though I have a Carl cutter that I can cut 10 to 12 sheets of cardstock at a time, on these I typically only cut 1 at a time, just because they might be off a little bit, you know, if something shifts in my printer. With my printer, I just have a pretty standard low model HP printer that does print on our white cardstock very well. You may want to print yours on copy paper. If you want to print yours on white cardstock, just to make your color coach a little sturdier, give it a try with maybe 1 sheet and see how your printer does. If your printer does not accept cardstock well, you can always take the PDF to like a print shop or Office Depot, Office Max, something like that, and they can print it out for you. But I prefer to print on cardstock just to make it a little bit sturdier. But there is certainly nothing wrong with printing it on copy paper if that is what is best for you. So I just go around, and I'm not even measuring. I really am just lining up these dotted lines on top of the cutting groove of my Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer. And you can see right in the center that that dotted line is in the right place. And so I do that. And then I'll go this direction. So I love that they have these dotted lines because I don't have to worry about measuring at all. I just put those dotted lines so that they're lying right on top of the cutting groove of my trimmer. If you're printing on cardstock, you'll get some of these blank pieces. I stick that in my scrap bin because I can certainly still stamp and punch or die cut with that. I'll find a way to use it. And so you'll want to repeat that process of cutting the cards until you get through all 10 of your cards. Then what I do is I start pulling cardstock. Now, depending, you may or may not have every color of cardstock, and that's okay. You can still make a great color coach without them. But what I like to do is, and for this I do use my bigger industrial cutter because I can cut 12 pieces of cardstock at a time. to get this. So it makes it very quick for me. But basically, you're going to cut pieces of cardstock that measure 4 1/4 by 3 1/4 inches. So I'm going to cut that 8.5 by 11 cardstock with it in the vertical position at 4 1/4, and then I'm going to cut at 3 1/4. Now you can get 6 of these pieces from one piece of cardstock. So this might be something that you want to get together with some of your stamping friends, or your crafty sister, or whoever it may be, and you can share supplies. Each of you bring certain color cardstocks, have your cards already printed and cut, and then you spend the time cutting the cardstock and putting your color coach together. Because you'll be pulling out one sheet of each piece of cardstock anyways. So if you have a friend that would like, or you could make these as a gift too. So then I just mount my cut color coach cards on top of the corresponding piece of cardstock. So when you cut on those dotted lines, these color coach cards are 3 inches by 4 inches. So that's why I cut each piece of cardstock to 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 inches. So then you're gonna end up with all these pieces of cardstock. You'll adhere all of the color combination cards, okay? And then the last thing, the last thing you're going to want to do, let me show you. So it'd be like this, right? And I have them all in order. The last thing you need to do is cut a hole in each. Now, I'm going to give you a tip for cutting the holes, because of course, we want all of those holes all the way through the stack to be lined up, right? So I take a piece of cardboard, really. I'll show you what it is. It's the back of a package of designer series paper. And what I do is cut it 3 1/4 and 4 1/4, so the same size as my cardstock pieces. And I'm cutting 2, one for the front and one for the back. So then what I do is I take my card that's on the top of the pile. It's already got the coach card on top of the piece of cardstock. And I'm going to lay this piece of cardboard underneath. And you decide where you want your hole. Do you want it like right in the middle here? Do you want it up in this corner? Maybe up in the opposite corner? I want mine right next to this little box. So I've got my, what is this thing called? It's so big and cumbersome, it barely fits my hand. Crocodile, I think. Is that what it's called? And I love it because you can see right through. So you know exactly where your hole is going to go. So I do that. My hole's in place right where I want it. And now for each of the others, let's just put a few of these on and you'll see better. So here's my Real Red card. And then Poppy Parade. I'll just do a couple here to show you. Makes it easier. So I've done that, right? So now I need to punch all of my other cards the same way. So now this piece of cardboard that I punched here, I'm using this as my template to punch all of the other cards. And again, because I'm using my crocodile, it's real easy for me to see where it's going to punch. So I'll be able to line up the hole of the crocodile with that hole on the template. And I'll just keep going through the entire stack like that. Then when I finished, I flip this to the back of the pile. I take that other one that I also cut and punched the hole in, and I put that on the front. So you might even write on here color coach or whatever you want. It's just an extra way to protect the front and back of your color coach cards. So let me put this back together. And there are no color coaches for the three basic colors we have. There is a card for every other color. We have 50 colors plus the three basics, which are black, white, and vanilla. So you get 10 brights, 10 neutrals, 10 regals, 10 subtles, plus 2 sets of in colors, right? One outgoing and one incoming set of in colors. So 5 and 5 is 10. So that gives you 50 cards plus the 3 basics is 53. I like to use one of these metal rings. I don't really even know what they're called. Binding rings or something. I prefer to use this. I have seen people use their little bind it machine instead of punching holes and using a ring, but I just find this really handy. The reason being that on the side of my craft desk, I have a little hook, and this hangs right on the hook. So I can literally reach over and grab it from that hook and reach over and put it back when I'm finished. Okay, so very easy to put together, a little bit time consuming, but it's really not bad. Probably an hour-ish, I would say. But now let's talk about how to use it. And you know, you can use the cards as your color coach without mounting them on cardstock, but this is the reason I like it on cardstock. Sometimes I start and I really have no idea what I'm going to use as far as colors. So let's talk like flowers. Give me a color that would be great for a flower. Any ideas? So some of you might say, well, go to the purples. I like purple flowers. So, okay, I think, well, this one's really pretty. I like this. At this point, I may not even recognize it for its name, but I can kind of move this around then if it's on the ring, right? Another reason I like it on the ring. I might go over here and think, oh, do I like it without? Well, that's pretty, but is that for a flower? I don't know. And I might think, well, maybe I want to put it with a red or a pink. Oh, how about that? Or how about this? Maybe. Or I could say, well, purples and yellows are always fun to use together. So let me grab a yellow. And I think I just let go of my other one, didn't I? Let's see if I remember which one it was. This one. It was this one. And I think, okay, I like this one a lot. Although it looks like Michigan colors to me, which is very hard for me since I'm a Ohio State fan, but I'm going to let it go this time. And then I think, okay, I'll need something for the leaves. So now I'm going back. I've got these two. Now I'm just going to play with some of these different greens. Ooh, I like that one. Or here's something a little less bright, maybe a little more muted. Yeah, not so much. Here's a nice soft color. So I might decide for my project that these are the 3 colors I want, just because to me, when I move the pieces of cardstock around, they look pleasing to my eye. So then I can flip them over and I think, well, I picked Daffodil Delight, I picked Coastal Cabana, and I picked Orchid Oasis, and then I can start. And that was sort of me making up my own color combination. But another way to go about that is, let's go back to this first one I picked. So I flip it over and I see, oh, this is Orchid Oasis. There's a lot of great colors that go with Orchid Oasis. And remember, this is just 3 options of color combinations. There are endless color combinations. There are way more than these 3, correct? So now I might think, okay, well, I really like the Fresh Freesia and the Orchid Oasis together, or maybe you like these better, the Orchid Oasis, Berry Burst, and Blackberry Bliss. So I might pull those out. This one's Berry Burst, I bet. Yes, and Blackberry Bliss. So now I have these 3, but I'm thinking, well, if they're flowers, I still need some kind of green. So again, I can just pick a green that's kind of appealing to me. Or what I can do, because I could pick this combination, I can start looking at these other colors cards I picked, and I see that there are some nice greens here. And if the nice green, these greens go with this color of cardstock or this color of cardstock, and those color cardstocks go with the Orchid Oasis, chances are those greens that are on the other cards are going to go with this too. So let's see, Old Olive, Coastal Cabana, Pretty Peacock, and Lost Lagoon. Ooh, let's try Lost Lagoon. Let's see where that one is. I think it's that one. So I can pull those out and think, oh yeah, I do like that. I like that a lot. And to test it out even more, I can flip it over this way and see the full colors rather than the dots. So that's why I like having the cardstock on the back, okay? Just gives you a larger reference to the color, all right? The other thing is you can take these off the hook at any time. You can rearrange the order. If you decide the rainbow order is not for you and you want to do brights, neutrals, regals, subtles, in colors, do it that way. The other thing is you might want to show somebody, and maybe you don't want to take all your stuff. And so you just pull these cards. What do you think of these colors? Oh, okay, you want me to make your cards in these colors. Got it. Thank you. Okay. The other reason that I choose to put it on a ring instead of some kind of permanent binding is, in addition to it being able to hang on that little hook on the side of my craft space, I can grab it and go. So if you like to travel with your crafts, you can take this reference with you, super easy. And at times I've actually made 2. Because some of my supplies I like to keep packed if they're things I travel with and I always want them. This way, if I have 2 made, I can leave 1 at home, always hanging on my craft table. And the other one always stays packed. But I have even hooked this to one of my craft bags, the handle of a craft bag. So it's quick and easy, or maybe the little tote with my tools in. I can hook this to the zipper pull or something like that. So it works out really well. You can also, I think somebody just said this, Diane, you laminate yours. Yes, I have a home laminator. Couple years in a row, I laminated it. 1 year I didn't. But honestly, the cards held up really well, so I haven't taken the time to laminate the other ones since. And the lamination is great. It just adds another step to the process. But certainly, if you like things laminated, I'd say go for it. And I do find it best with lamination, though, you want to laminate the completed cards, okay? You don't want to laminate the sheets and then cut them out because the lamination will peel away. So it is best to make all of the completed cards, and then I think you can put like 6 or 8, probably 8 of these. About 8, yeah, about 6 or 8 in a lamination sheet. And then you cut them individually, and they hold up much better with the lamination. And then, like I said, you can put a piece of extra little cardboard there. You might want to use a window sheet on the top. If you're laminating them, you probably don't need it at all. If you, again, I have mine in rainbow order. That's just my preference, because if I'm looking at reds, I know those are all together, and it just is easier for me, okay? But if you like yours by color family, you might even write on one of these or print it and cut it to say neutrals, regals, brights, 2023 to 2025 in colors, okay? So are there any questions about this? It's very simple to do. And sometimes I know okay, let's talk baby. How about, well, as you know, Andrea and John are having a baby girl. And I will tell you that this color, this mauve color, I see everywhere for baby girls. Clothing, nursery decor, blankets, all kinds of things. I see this color everywhere. So maybe I want to make something for my new grandbaby, and I want to use this as the main color, but it's a really new color, right? We're just getting started using it. I don't have much experience using it. So this is a great time for me to pull out my color coach, and right here are 3 awesome color combinations that, may appeal to me. Or maybe I like the way these 3 go together, but I need a bluish or a greenish. I can go right here and choose the Granny Apple Green. Or I need a neutral for layering. I could add the basic gray to that. So I often, too, will not only look at the 3 suggested color combinations, but sometimes I will mix and match. Like I think, oh, well, maybe I really would like Moody Mauve, Flirty Flamingo, and Granny Apple Green together. So you can even do that within a card. So there's a whole lot of flexibility, whether you are new to this craft and choosing your own colors for projects, or if you've been around for a while, like me. There are lots of different ways you can put this to use. So I hope you found this helpful. I will post the PDF so that you have all of the sheets. And remember, when you're printing them, there are a total of 10. Let me double check. Yes, and the one I cut. So 10, all right? Any questions about that? And you know what? If you're making one, it's almost as easy to just make 2. So maybe you want to give one to a friend, somebody you craft with often, or you need a birthday gift for your crafty sister. You can make one and package it and send it to her, something like that. But I think it's worth taking the time to make one. And once you've made it, you will use it. So it's an awesome resource. It's an invaluable resource. Any questions about that? I will post the PDF very shortly to both Stampin' Piece VIP group. I will post it here on Stampin' Piece with Mary Nabe. And no later than tomorrow, I will also have it up on my blog, stampinpiece.com. And if you like what you saw here, if you've seen any of my previous Facebook Lives and like the projects, please, please, please subscribe to stampinpeace.com. That is where you will get all of my latest information, creative inspiration from the projects I share. That's sort of, I call it the hub of my business, stampinpeace.com, the hub of my business. And once you go there, you can click subscribe, and you can subscribe right to the blog. And you will get all of the information into me, what is a much more fun format than my email newsletter. But email newsletter would be second. So those two things would be the main places where I share all of my information. Bonnie O'Neill is asking, will the colors be true when printed? That will depend on your printer. I have to say, I got a new printer last year, and previously when I printed my color coaches, they were pretty close, but I would say a little muted with my old copier. So I would just take it to the copy center and let them run it. I could send them the PDF, they would print it out, and the colors were a little sharper. Since I got my new printer, it's HP 6000 series. HP 6000 series. It was not very expensive at all. It's a simple home copier or printer. But since I got that, the colors really are sharp, they are clear, and they are true. So again, Bonnie, you just have to try it with your own printer, okay? Mine, it prints very well and very true to color, but it will depend on which printer you're using, okay? Any other questions? Jenny, I have an HP 6000 series. All right. Who's planning on joining me tomorrow morning? Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, May 2nd. I will be doing my new catalog walkthrough, sort of like the big catalog kickoff. I will take you through this, pointing out some interesting things that you will find inside, pointing out some new products, sharing some of my favorites with you. So come on and join me, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, May 2nd. Tell your friends, like this page, Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabes, so that you get, hopefully, get the notification. You never quite know how Facebook's working. But it's just a really fun way to kick off the new catalog. So I look forward to seeing you then. And then my next project demonstration will be on Wednesday evening. All right. Tomorrow, this Tuesday, is going to be a little extra for the catalog kickoff and walkthrough. Sharon and Lori, I'm glad to hear that you'll be joining me tomorrow. It's exciting. I keep changing my mind a little bit on what are my favorites, but that's okay. That's okay. And I'd love to hear what your favorites are too. So you might be marking things in your catalog as well. Have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.